Hi, I'm Eric, and this is my wife Katie. Back before we were even engaged, we spent a couple of years furiously saving up money, and in August 2009 we sold everything we owned, quit our jobs, and left our home in the United States on a trip that ended up taking us all the way around the world in 14 months. Aside from a visit to Costa Rica, followed by a one-way flight to Bangkok, we had literally no itinerary. At first, we documented the trip very roughly with video, with no real intention of making a real video blog. But eventually it kind of evolved into a really, largely video-focused project, and now I'm going back and re-editing a bunch of the footage from the first couple of months of our trip to make it fit the format that the blog eventually evolved into. Due to the small amount of footage that we shot early in our trip, the videos are not going to be quite as full-featured as the later videos ended up being, so you're just going to have to kind of bear with me. So on August 30th, 2009, we said goodbye to Katie's family. Her parents gave us a ride up to our friend Tom's house in Northern Virginia, where we were going to spend the night and then in the morning get up super early and he'd drive us to the airport. The reason that we were going to Costa Rica was because at that time my parents were actually living in Costa Rica and we wanted to see them before we made our trip all the way over to Asia. So in the morning we get on the plane, we go to Costa Rica, we get off the plane, my parents are there waiting for us at the airport, which was great. And then we get in their car, and I think it was a couple of hours ride from the airport to where they were living. So we get to their house and look at their house, check this out.
Izzy, it's okay. Izzy, this is just Eric. We're definitely still alive. I know that everybody's curious. This is Izzy. When you get off the plane, they give you a small chihuahua. Here, come on in. This is a tour of Eric's parents' house. A mini tour of some sort. This is the garage. That's a lot of stuff. Laundry room. Living room and kitchen. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna show you the special pet that they have. This is where the bats live. The bat lay
Out the front door, of course. So nobody uses the front door because, there's bats there.
cereal in there too, kid. Thank you. We have an abundance of these. We call them rambutans in the States, and here they call them fuzzy grapes, and they're delicious. Now for the kicker on it all. Let's go outside. Come on, Izzy. And that's about it for what's going on right now, but cannonball!
We spent a few days lounging around at my parents' house. A lot of the time we spent in the pool. One day we took a day trip with my parents to the east coast of Costa Rica, and we went to some beaches and got some lunch and came back, and they kind of live in the central part of Costa Rica. We came back there and another day or two of lounging. But the really cool day that we spent with my parents, we drove up into the mountains through a whole bunch of road cows and ended up at the base of this volcano that was literally smoking, and quite stunning. It was really, really a good day. We had a lot of fun. After a week or so with my parents, Katie and I struck out on our own for the first time on the entire trip. Honestly, we were a little bit nervous because, we didn't really speak a whole lot of Spanish, and we're in this country, and, all these, it's silly to think about now that we've completed this massive trip that we went on, but, thinking about, going out and being how do you deal with, getting a taxi? How do you deal with, taking a bus? How do you do this? All these things, at that point, if we've never done it, then, that's, it's nerve-wracking, you don't know, and then, I mean, it's not hard, it's easy, it's everything just works. So But we were pretty nervous at the time. So my parents dropped us off at a bus station, and we got our bus, and we took it over to the west coast of Costa Rica, and we stayed at Playa de Coco or something, I think might be the name. It's a little town with some beaches that are like black sand, and really pretty little area. And we were on the Nicoya Peninsula, I believe. We spent a couple days there, and while we were there at nighttime, you'd hear this like thundering noise, and it was actually like the school marching band practicing. So we sat and we would listen to them play, and being there and listening to it was pretty amazing. And just like this huge pounding sound. And I don't remember a whole lot else. I remember we met the guy at the hotel there was this American guy, and he had been in Vietnam, and he had some really strange stories about being a sniper or something. Who knows if it was actually accurate, but regardless, he was a very nice person. So after our time on the Nicoya Peninsula, we headed back to San Jose via ferry. And I will show the video about the ferry in a minute, but we ended up meeting my parents again in San Jose, spending the night, having dinner with them, and then the next day getting on a plane, flying to New York, spending a night in New York, and then getting on a plane that was 27 hours long to fly to Bangkok. And I'll show the little bit of New York stuff we've got, and then the next video will pick us up in Thailand. We are on a ferry here crossing a bay between the Nicoya Peninsula and mainland of Costa Rica, and there isn't a whole lot going on. I wish that the karaoke that was just taking place was still going on, but it looks like they've decided not to do that, as there is only about 7 or 8 people on this ferry. So here we go. So you can see there's not a huge crowd. This fellow in the red has got quite a booming voice. Yeah, here we go. This guy, he is quite a singer, and I'm not even joking. It's pretty impressive. And they're setting up, I think this is a party boat or something, maybe? We can't quite... It's a ferry, because I mean there's cars and trucks at the bottom, but they're setting up a projector now. And I'm not sure if it's just entertainment for people while they're on the boat, or we haven't quite figured it out. But there's a bar that doesn't appear to have anything to drink, and everybody here seems pretty friendly, a lot of smiles and whatnot. And well, not a whole lot else going on. This is supposed to take about an hour and a half. We'll be seeing my parents at the other side, and they're supposed to be giving us a ride to San Jose so we can catch our airplane to New York and then on to Bangkok tomorrow. And the one last thing, this is apparently called Pony Island, Katie said. So I guess it's something like Isle de Cabello, or however you pronounce horse. Yep, and that's about it. Adios.
Go ahead and drink some of it. That's fucking weird.
You getting upset again?
Yes. Alright, so we are going on a JetBlue flight, and everybody's been really excited about it and says good things about it, but we heard that we weren't able to take drinks on here, so we ended up getting 2 sodas, the bottled ones, and they were closed, in the terminal, and the guy gave it to us. We walked up to the lady. They're searching all of our bags and telling us whether we can take things on or not. Most of the time, it's no problems. They look at our sodas, our closed sodas that we bought 10 feet away, do not go on the plane. I was like, are you serious? So then I walked up to the guy who sold it to us, tried to get my money back. He told me I couldn't get my money back. So I either had to drink it within that 10 feet or not drink it. So I gave it back to the guy. I told him, you know what, go ahead and sell it to someone else. And we get on the flight. And we're dropping some F-bombs because we're so annoyed about this. Let me tell you about JetBlue. They hooked us up. Alright, so I was checking out all these telephone numbers at our hotel in New York. You got the front desk, wake-up call, housekeeping, pharmacy. This is the emergency button. Don't forget the pizza button.
Pizza button.
Why is there a pizza button? Okay, hold on. It better be Papa John's.
Thanks for choosing Papa John's Pizza.
Yes! Alright, it's a good pizza button. Hey girls.